So as you might already know if you watched last week's episode, I'm currently supposed to be building a toy studio in my garden. But all it's done for the past 5 days is hammer it down with rain, and because of this, the builder can't lay any blocks, which leaves me sat in the house stewing, wanting to get on with the project and not able to. So I figured what I'd try and do in today's episode is show you a few more things that I've got in over the past few months that I've not had a chance to feature on the channel yet, and maybe, just maybe, take a look at some items that are like playsets, or have a little bit of a building theme to them. Just some toys that could possibly help scratch that itch and make me feel like I'm at least building something. Now this thing's been sat in the background of my videos for months and months, so today feels like the perfect time to break it out. This is a Japanese Ninja Turtles fan club only promotional item. It was never made for resale, and although there isn't that much information about it online anywhere, it seems to have been given away to fans in Japan in the early 90s, around the time of the Mutations transforming figures. I did actually show one of these on the channel before as well. A few NEC events back, my friend Alex Cador of Holy Grail Toys had one on his stall and I was really impressed with it. I later found out that he actually got it from another good friend of mine, the Ancient Mariner, and when he saw the video, he hit me up and he told me that he had another one in storage, and when he found it out he would send it me. Something that he did like a week later, so as always, shouts to the Ancient Mariner every single time. So it's basically a cardboard carry case with a pop-up book inside that features 3 different iconic Ninja Turtles locations when you open up the pages. So we've got the street level with the Channel 6 news station, we've got the Technodrome, and of course the underground sewer system. What's also really cool about this thing is that because it is a carry case, you can imagine a kid throwing a bunch of their figures inside it, and then being able to pull it out and set it up wherever they were and play out entire scenes with all of the different backdrops that it provided. It also makes you wonder why they didn't market this as an actual store-sold item, because you just know that it would have been really popular, and a system that they could have probably used for lots of other toys as well. Now this set also comes with a few of these pop-out sheets, featuring cutouts of characters if you didn't have the actual figures to play with, and also set pieces that you could push out and add to the background to the playset. I'm not going to take any of them out though because there's just no point. I think they look much better untouched, and with this particular piece I'd rather keep them mint, even if it does kind of go against the building theme that I wanted to go with in this episode. My favourite part of this whole set though has got to be that box art. If you know me, you know that I love Ninja Turtles, and I'm also a mad fan of Japanese toy releases and variants and exclusives, so this thing's right up my street, and honestly, the more that I look at that box, the more that I think it might be my most favourite piece of Ninja Turtles artwork ever. This again is something that I've wanted to feature on the channel for months now. My appreciation for toys spans so many decades, and being a kid that was raised by a toy collector, there's lots of figures and playsets that might not be the most popular amongst other people in my generation, but to me, they're just as nostalgic as Ninja Turtles and Thundercats and all that other stuff that I grew up with. And just like the original Palitoy Action Man, $6 Million Man is another toy line that my dad collected when I was growing up, so it's always been a TV show and a toy line that I've got a lot of love for. So I have featured a few of the figures from this line on the show before briefly, Maskatron and stuff, but the Bionic Transport and Repair Station I've not featured at all yet, and with the tagline of the show literally being, "We can rebuild him, we have the technology," I thought it'd be quite fitting to feature it in this episode. So this playset is basically a 2-in-1. You firstly get this vehicle mode, the Space Rocket, aka the Bionic Transport, which then folds out and transforms into a maintenance bay, aka the Repair Station. It was originally made by General Mills back in 1975, and from what I understand, they then subsidised the distribution rights to different companies in different countries, so over here in England it was Dennis Fisher, making this one an American version because the logo on this box says Kenner. Now this is a set that's got so many little pieces inside it that can get lost and broken. None of it's made particularly well either, which doesn't help, so having one complete like this in this condition really isn't something that you come across very often. This one came straight out of my dad's old collection as well, which makes it even cooler, because not only do I know that it's been looked after really well for many years, but it also means it's a piece that he'll have picked up at a toy fair or a car boot decades back and will have cost a fraction of what people would be trying to sell them for if I wanted to buy a box one of these today. So the way that the playset works is that you take your Steve Austin $6 Million Man toy, you lay him down in this little operating table looking area, you roll the skin on his arm back, and you can just mix and match these tubes any way that they'll fit so that you can look like you're checking his systems and repairing him. You can also scan his body parts with this fake little X-ray feature as well, and overall for a toy of its time, it really did have a lot to offer. The $6 Million Man was such a popular show back then as well. I can only imagine how awesome it must have been for someone who was a fan of that series to have been able to go and get a toy of Lee Majors that looked like this and have a playset with all of these features that were so innovative back then. You can tell that the people that designed it took a lot of care in making sure that it had a ton of playability value as well and didn't just throw something out for the sake of it. And I do feel very blessed to be able to have one in this condition and be able to handle it with all of its accessories the way that you would have back in the 70s if you bought one new. It also feels good to be able to showcase it on the channel a little bit as well, because like I said, I've been wanting to show this off for ages. Now if there's one thing that I do love to build, it's Gundam, or Gunpla. I did a whole episode covering my first ever Gunpla build a few years ago, and it's just something that I find super chill and relaxing. I went to Gunpla World in Japan, and ever since then I've always had an affinity with these kits, and although I don't have too many of them, I always enjoy building them when I get the opportunity to do so. It's a lot like Lego in a sense that you're not having to use your own creative side of your brain, but you still get the rewarding feeling of creating something, if that makes sense. You just follow instructions, there's no gluing involved either so it's not messy, and at the end of it you have a really cool figure that you can display. Now I've had a couple of Gundam sets sat about for a while that I had donated to me, so today feels like a great excuse to build one, and I'm gonna go with this guy, the Zagok. So Gunpla comes in a few different ranges, some pretty simple to put together and some very complex. This is a high grade Gunpla, which means it's somewhere in the middle. And also looking how it fits together, is nothing like the other Gunpla that I've built in the past, so it'll be nice to do something a bit different. Also the Zagok looks awesome, like some big armoured pincer fist crab robot. Definitely a look that I've got a lot of time for, so I'll be buzzing to add this guy to my shelf when he's finished. So building these things is pretty straightforward, although I'd be lying if I said that I never mess them up, because I do, and then end up having to pull bits apart that I've spent time on because I stuck something together the wrong way around or whatever. Luckily though, the fact that you don't use glue on them makes it really easy to just take them apart and reassemble them, which again makes the whole activity super chill because there's really no pressure. If you mess something up, you just prise that bit apart and you start again. For a long time as well, Gunpla was pretty much sold exclusively in Japan, and the only way that you could get them in the Western world was mail order or in very specific specialist shops. And although that is still kind of the case, you do now see them in more places. Like that RX-782 that I built in the other video, that was just from a shop in York, and I also see them in places like Forbidden Planet now as well. I've also started seeing them a lot more at the toy fairs as well, so it's just nice to know that they're a lot more accessible nowadays, and if you've never done one before, and you enjoy Lego, or Airfix, or Warhammer, or anything like that, I definitely recommend giving one a go. Even if you're not the biggest Gundam fan, they're just a lot of fun, they look good on your shelf, and they're a perfect way to keep your brain stimulated when you want to do something cool and productive. So what I'm doing here is running this pen through all of these lines and crevices to give them a bit more depth. This is an official Gundam pen as well, specifically made for this, and it's crazy how much of a difference it makes. Some people prefer the flat look, and although I do like that, there's something about the darker line look that I just can't get enough of. And for how quick it is to do it, it really does give them a very professional finish in my opinion. So there you have it, the finished Zagok. What do you think? It were definitely a much easier build than the RX-782, but still very enjoyable, and a perfect way to spend a couple of hours while I'm waiting for this rain to piss off. As you can also tell, I really enjoy building Gunpla. I've got another one that I've still not built yet that I'll try and usher into a future episode, and if you enjoy watching me build these things, then please let me know, because any excuse to pick one of these up at the toy fair and build it on the channel, then I'm always down. Now, I was also going to feature a little segment on this thing in today's video as well. This is an original Bioflesh Regenerator set that I recently got sent by my boy Robology, and I was going to say that I'm building a Terminator, but I think the powder that I was using was out of date or something, because it just wouldn't set and made a mess. I tried a couple of times until I hardly had any powder left, so yeah, if you've got any skin tone coloured dental alginate lying around, because that's what this thing uses, or even better, some original tubs of the actual material that these sets came with, then please holler, because I'm really eager to try and use this set successfully. I also hope that I'm much better at moulding toys and using chemicals that set when I'm in my studio than I am when I tried getting this working, because it's safe to say that on this occasion, this whole activity here turned out disastrously. Now listen, I feel like I've been very mardy in this video. I feel like I've spent a lot of it complaining. I feel like I've concerned myself too much with the fact that I can't be outside building. I should have watched enough Grand Designs to know that when you're building something, you're always going to hit snags, and the weather is something that you have no control over. So I've spent a lot of today's episode sat in my toy room trying to fill a void, trying to build something to try and make me feel like I've actually made some kind of progress on some kind of build in some kind of way. And I feel that while I've been doing all that, I've kind of neglected the fact that recently I've built something incredible. Something that I've spent years trying to build up. And it's the fact that a couple of days ago, I received an email from YouTube telling me that I'd hit 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I'm not even gonna front, I'm absolutely gassed about it. I'm so happy. When I set this channel up all them years ago, I always said to people, if I had 10,000 subscribers, I would be happy. And now I've got more than that. So obviously, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's taken the time to subscribe to my channel, to watch my videos, and not only that, but to watch them and then keep coming back every single week and putting likes on them and commenting down below and just keeping this whole thing going and sharing the videos round. Like, you lot are the reason that this channel has built up so many subscribers. I see so many cool channels where people are doing such cool stuff, edited really well, really engaging content and that kind of thing, and they don't have half the subscribers that I've got, and they've been doing it for longer than me. So I know that it's not always down to the content that you're making, it's definitely down to it resonating with the types of people that you want to try and attract with your videos, and then them spreading the word and commenting on it and things like that, and then that's how your video gets on the algorithm and all that. I don't really understand all this YouTube thing. I came at this thing like a filmmaker that just loves toys. I like to make cool videos and I like to film toys that I think are awesome, and that's pretty much it. Like, I never really had too much of like an attack plan. Some people are really switched on when it comes to hitting the algorithm, what thumbnails to use and all that kind of thing. I'm always still just working it out. But whatever I've been doing for like the past year or the past 2 years has kind of worked for me. I don't really know what I've done, but I really do feel like now I've found my feet with the channel. I've found my feet with the flow of how I release videos, what kind of videos I release, and the fact that you lot like them really does mean the world to me. So obviously, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. 10,000 followers might not seem a lot to some people, but to me I feel like it's a real good big milestone. It cements the fact that this channel is legit, that people take my brand seriously, and I'm just really excited to think where we could be heading next. There's really nothing else I can say other than thank you to everybody that watches the channel, everybody that supported it for these years, whether you're somebody that just watches the videos, or you're people that sent me stuff to do content on, or people that's actually been out with me filming to help me make episodes and help me make content. To all of you, you know who you are. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really do mean it. I really do. So that's going to wrap up today's video. I know that it's a really weird one this week. Like, sometimes I just like to sit in the toy room, turn the camera on and get a little bit crazy. Do a bit of a Gunpla build, a bit of a toy review, a bit of weird editing. It's all Slimehouse, and it's just the way that I like to make videos. When I'm doing the toy fair videos and stuff, going out hunting and things, they're very formulaic, and they have like a certain way that I like to do them. But when I get into the toy room and I make these kind of episodes, I just like to do whatever I'm feeling at the time, and then videos like this come out. So I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a like. And what I want to know from you this week in the comments down below is how you found out about Slimehouse. I dropped a poll on the channel a couple of days ago asking people, but if you're watching this video and you've not let me know yet, then please do let me know. How did you find out about Slimehouse? Did you see it posted on social media? Did it just come up on the algorithm? Did a friend put you onto it? Did you see me on another YouTube channel, get a shout out or something like that? Let me know down in the comments below, because I'm really interested to know how you found me and how you found Slimehouse. If you want to help support this channel, I do have a Patreon. You can head over to patreon.com/SlimeHouseTV. Joining any of the tiers on there really does help me and really does help me make this channel bigger and better than ever. If you don't want to commit to Patreon but you want to send a little something, there's a link down below that you can hit and send a one-off donation to Slimehouse. Obviously, like I've mentioned many times, we're building a studio at the minute. This thing's not cheap, so every little bit helps. If you want to hit me up about anything but you don't want to comment down below publicly, the best place to do that is over on Instagram at Theo_Kane_Slimehouse. That's also the social media that I'm the most active on, and it's the best place to keep up to date with anything else that I've got going on here at the Slimehouse channel. So with all that said and done, like I said, my name's Theo Kane, this is Slimehouse TV, and I'll hopefully be back in the next video for either a toy hunt or another studio build update when the weather's cleared up. So, until that episode, which I will catch you in then, I'm gone. Pow!